there guys, PortalMaster9351 here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the recently updated Skylanders Academy website and sharing all of the new information that is available on the website. So, first up, the first thing you can immediately see from this thing is that, once again we get that reassurance that it's coming on October 6th. We already knew that. It's been confirmed a lot by now, but either way, this is just like a new landing page that I did just want to quickly point out. Also, there's a link to the newest trailer, which is, we've known about that. We come down here to this little page down here, and we're actually able to see the first little bit of new information. It's not new information, but it is new to the website. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says, Skylanders Academy Season 2 finds our team of heroes questioning their identities and past. Spyro begins a search for answers about his ancestors in order to harness and understand his special powers. Meanwhile, Chaos's quest to bring an evil rule to the Skylands realm accidentally unleashes a villain more powerful than anything Chaos or the Skylander warriors have ever faced. The Skylanders unite once more for the greatest showdown against evil yet, putting them all to the ultimate test. So, brief little, blurb about the series. We pretty much already knew that, Chaos unleashes a villain. That blurb might have been given out on websites earlier. I'm honestly not 100% sure about that, but either way, that is definitely new to the website. It wasn't there before. The other new stuff is down here, and it actually lets us take a look at some of the other artwork for these characters, like Sprocket and Cinder. We come over here to the villains page. There's nothing new here. It's just Chaos and Glumshanks. There's no mention of Malefor or anything else, but if we come over to here and we actually click on See All Heroes, we get our first little bit of really actually new information. There's a character spinner down here, and it's got a blurb for all the characters. So for Season 1, it covers Spyro, Eruptor, Stealth Elf, Pop Fizz, Jetvac, Master Eon, Chaos, and Glumshanks, but then for Season 2, it actually covers Sprocket. This is where that artwork had come from for Sprocket, and I think this has actually been available for a few days, but I'm still going to go ahead and read it. It says, need to fix a leaky faucet, or how about revamp a malfunctioning quantum kinetic descrambler that keeps jamming up on you in battle? Then look no further than Sprocket. Armed with the right tool for any job, the fix is in with this tech head. Wielding a wrench powerful enough to fend off villains with a whack and large enough to tighten the bolts on a malfunctioning portal, the Skylander can depend on Sprocket to repair any bad situation. Of course, we also have Cinder, and this is again more of that Cinder artwork, and it says, think Spyro is the only purple-skinned, wisecracking, devil-may-care dragon in Skylands? Well, actually he is. But there's also Cinder, an ambitious, violet-scaled dragon who arrived at the Academy with a mysterious past that she refuses to talk about. Maybe it has something to do with how preternaturally talented she is in the dark arts, with awesome and sinister powers like her spectral lightning and shadow dash, or how she's always taking those weekend trips down to the underworld. Until the Skylanders can get to the bottom of what's really driving Cinder, she's content to be the brooding yin to Spyro's carefree yang, adding a much needed edge to the Skylanders' fight for good. So, brief little character introduction backstory kind of thing for them both. A lot like the actual Skylander backstories that we get for all of the characters, of course. So we can go also to the gallery over here on this little menu, and we actually get to see a grand total of 16 new images for Season 2. It's got the same thing for Season 1, but only 12. So we come over here and we'll get to see new images from the thing, some of which we've seen in the trailer, some of which we have not. First up is this little picture of Chaos and Glumshanks and Chaos's lair. There's nothing terribly new about this image. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a zoom if it'll let me. There we go. Yeah, there's nothing terribly new in this image, so, those statues are new, but I think that's about it. We can come over to this picture, just another picture of Sprocket, in the actual cartoon. No context as to where this image is actually taken from, although I imagine that this is just kind of, she's standing out in a field somewhere or whatever, like, whatever. I don't really know. She still looks really weird to me, and I think it's just her skin tone. It looks really zombified, actually. It does not look natural at all. And I don't know, it's just something about those pale eyes that just, ugh, I don't know. Needs to keep the goggles on if you ask me. But anyways, nice little picture of Sprocket. Here we actually have a picture of the Doom Raiders. We don't really know where this is, or like when this is, but we can tell that this is before Chompy Mage loses his puppet, as his puppet is still right there, and, you know, he obviously hasn't lost it, or it's after he gets it back. I don't know. Let's see. This picture right here is from when the Skylanders first start to fight Malefor. Now, the reason that we know this is because in the trailer, when it zooms out on that Malefor shot, we can see all of those vehicles right there behind the Skylanders as they're all looking at Malefor. So they are looking at Malefor in this image. That is what they are, like, ready to attack and stuff like that. Some people, I think, have been wondering, like, what this was, where this was, and it is when they are fighting Malefor for that very first time. Here we just get a nice little picture of Cinder being introduced. There's nothing major about this image, nothing terribly new. This was in the trailer, so yeah. This is another interesting little picture of Spyro training. We can tell that he's training because there's a little shield thing behind him, kind of like little Star Wars shield generator thingies, but really nothing terribly new about this picture. Here we actually, this is brand new. We have not seen this at all. It has the gang surrounding a baby Greeble on a pillow. Now, we don't know anything more about this image. We don't know, like, when in the story this takes place, or have any idea what other episode it is in, but I would assume it's early on in the series, or rather in the season, because there's no sight of Cinder or Sprocket, so we assume that they haven't really integrated into the gang yet, because, well, neither of them are there, so kind of interesting. I don't know why I just did that, because I wanted to show you guys this picture, which is an awesome picture of Cinder using her spectral lightning, and in my opinion, just looks awesome. There's nothing terribly, you know, that I can talk about in this picture, but I will say that it bears a striking resemblance to this environment. So it's possible that Cinder shows up while they're fighting Malefor and, you know, just kind of saves the day or something like that. And the reason I say that is because it's dark in the sky and there's rocks floating about, and that just seems to match up with this environment right here. So I think that this is from that particular episode, but in all honesty, that's just speculation, and I don't really know that for sure. Here we have an interesting little picture of Jetpack talking to Sprocket. What's interesting to me, and what this picture kind of makes me wonder, is how Sprocket will actually be introduced to the Skylanders. We know that Ningini just kind of shows up, and we know that Cinder is kind of introduced by Eon, but we don't really know how Sprocket is brought into this, although he does appear to be comforting Sprocket based on the fact that he's actually, like, you know, holding on to Sprocket and stuff like that. He also appears to have an egg in his hand, so it's kind of interesting. I don't know why he has an egg in his hand, but yeah. Just another picture of Stealth Elf and Sprocket. For some reason, this picture made me realize that, you know, just how pale Stealth Elf's eyes are too. For some reason, those don't weird me out anywhere near as much as Sprocket's weird me out. I don't know why that is. That's just the way it is, though. But, yeah. Interesting. This is an interesting picture, and if I'm correct, it comes from the Hex and Skull standalone episode. It's been confirmed by Eric Rogers that Hex does have her own episode, and I'm thinking that this is that episode. And the reason that I say that is because there are no other Skylanders present in this picture, and she just appears to be all alone at night with the skull. So I'm assuming that this is that standalone episode, but honestly, I have no idea. Here we have a picture of all the Skylanders before they start fighting the Fire Viper. And the reason that we know that they are fighting the Fire Viper shortly after this picture is, you know, is because when they're fighting the Fire Viper, it's in the same environment. So this is from the episode that they fight the Fire Viper, although it still doesn't really lend us any new information about why they're there, why they're fighting the Fire Viper, or whatever's going on. This is an interesting picture of almost said Mesmerelda. Not Mesmerelda. Chaos's mom. What's interesting to me about this picture is that you can actually tell that the lightning that she's casting looks an awful lot like Cinder's spectral lightning. Not nearly as awesome, a little bit more magical, but definitely very similar. So it's possible that they have, like, draw their powers from similar sources, but I honestly don't know that. But it is interesting that we will get to see Chaos's mom in action a little bit more than last season, just based off this picture. This picture is from the scene where the Doom Raiders are talking to Chaos and saying, "Look, Chaos, we accept you." Now, the one thing I'll point out is that, again, Chompy Mage has his puppet, but if I'm correct, very shortly in a very similar environment to this is where the Chompy Mage does not have his puppet. So it's possible that when Chaos shows up, he does something to Chompy Mage's puppet, which would explain why he doesn't have it just a mere moments later, assuming that those are, you know, from the same episode / time period. Just kind of a little interesting observation that I had. Right here, we see Hugo in action. Looks like he's about to, you know, spray somebody's beard. We see he's got beard spray for men. Over here, he's actually actively spraying it, as we can see right there. And this appears to be a hole puncher, but it's been confirmed by Eric Rogers to not be a hole puncher, but in fact be a stapler. Now, it looks like a mighty weird stapler, if you ask me, but hey, it's a stapler. And then I keep doing that by accident. But this is the final picture, and it just gives us this nice, cute little heartwarming image with Spyro and Stealth Elf just kind of looking, you know, into each other's pale, soulless, cold eyes. But yeah, it's just a generic picture. Nothing to be inferred from here. But there are a lot of awesome pictures, if you ask me, in this gallery. I really like that they're doing this. I like that there's 16 pictures instead of 12. The more pictures, the more awesome, if you ask me. And yeah. So that's unfortunately it for the actual new stuff that's been added to the Skylanders Academy page, but we are, if I'm correct, 10 days away from the premiere of Skylanders Academy Season 2, and that is really, really awesome. So if there's any more news leading up to the release and unveiling and launch of Skylanders Academy, you can be sure that I will be covering it. But as for now, that's all I have for you guys. This has been PortalMaster9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.